Hey everyone! In this video, I want to show how to add terms and condition checkbox directly to the cart page on your Shopify store without any apps. While I'll be demonstrating it on the Dawn theme, but the steps are suitable for many popular themes. For those of you guys who prefer to read or want a detailed walkthrough, I've also prepared a text version of this video. So the first thing we want to do is to remove this Buy It Now button. We can do it by navigate to product information and select Buy Buttons and disable this Show Dynamic Checkout buttons. The second thing we want to do is to prevent our users to go to the checkout page immediately. So we want to hide this checkout button, and we can do it by simply inspect our element, and we need to find our form where it's located. And here you can see it's with ID cart notification form. We can simply copy this and let's open our code. We can go back. To open our code editor, we need to press these three dots and open edit code. Now we can search for file-based CSS and scroll down to the bottom, and we can add our ID, our form ID, which is cart notification form. But we also want to select the cart notification class because I want to be sure that nothing else will be selected, just only cart notification and this form. And here we can now provide our display none property. Let's save it. Let's see if our checkout button is hidden now. Perfectly. Let's create our terms and privacy checkbox. We need to open our code editor and find file named main cart footer. Here we can scroll down and we need to find our button. Here it is. And as I mentioned before, I want to add it above it. So we're gonna press enter right here. Now I can add our label and input. Let's add some properties to our input. We're gonna need to add form cart. We also want to add type checkbox. We want to add our ID, which will be terms checkbox, and we also want to add name with attributes and square brackets. We need to use this attributes and square brackets as the name for our checkbox, and it's important because it helps to track whether customer agree to our terms and privacy when they make a purchase. I also want to add a for attribute to our label. We want the label to work with the checkbox, so we will make sure to give it a for attribute that matches the ID of the checkbox. This way, when we click the label, it will toggle the checkbox. The next step I want to take is to include label text in my schema so that I can modify later using the theme customizer. So we want to scroll down, and here you can see is our schema. And in settings array, we can add our new object, which will be with ID terms text, type text, with label terms text, and default value, and you can provide anything that you want here. And now I can add it to my label. We can scroll up a little bit, and to access this variable, we need to pass section, settings, and our terms text. So now we can save, and let's see how it looks in our store. And here is our checkbox. As you can see, we can toggle it by clicking on the label, and let's check if we can change the text. Yes, it's also working. But we also want to add our terms and condition page link here, right? So we're gonna go back to our code and add it in our schema. I'm back in my main cart footer file and I want to add a new object in our settings array. And now we can add this term link text in our label again. Section, settings, terms link text. I also want to wrap our terms link text into a tag because it is a link and we want to navigate user to another page, and we want to add target blank, and this gonna help us to navigate users to another page but also open this new page in a new tab in customer's browser. I also need to include a path to our HTML tag. So I'm going to write ref, and I want that this tag will be dynamically added from the theme customizer. So we need to add to our schema. And here we have type page with ID terms page link. So I'm going to insert it with double bracket, section, settings, and terms page link right here. So let's save this and let's see how it looks in our theme. And now I have my checkbox with the link and I can select whatever page I want. I only have contact page yet because it is demo store, but in your situation, I assume that you have more pages and you can select the privacy page or whatever page you want. Now I'm going to include JavaScript code that stops users from accessing the checkout page unless they've checked the terms and condition checkbox. So I need to scroll down a little bit, and here you can see script tag, and we can select our checkout button and our checkbox. So we need to write const button document, and we need to find button class. We need to select it, and we want to say query selector and select our class. And we also want to select our checkbox. Const checkbox document get element by ID, and we want to provide our checkbox ID, which is terms checkbox. Now I'd like to set up an event for our checkout button so that when someone clicks it, our event will be triggered. So I'm going to say button, add event listener. We're going to provide here click because we want to trigger it only when someone clicks on the button. So I'm going to say function event. Inside our event listener, I want to check if customer has selected the checkbox. So we need to create here if statement, if checkbox checked, and we also want to create else statement. We want to prevent to go to the checkout page, so we're gonna say event prevent default, and I also want to show a message for our customer alert and our message. Before we go to the store, I want to complete our name in input. So I want to provide this section settings term link text in square brackets. We want to provide this name because later on we will be able to see the result in the order history. Let's test our checkbox functionality. I'm going to leave the checkbox empty now. As you can see, we have our message and the customer will not be redirected to our checkout page. And let's check the checkbox. And here it is, our checkout page. But using an alert isn't the best way to display our validation text to the user, so let's add our text below the checkbox in red color. I want to add one more object with type text and ID terms reminder text. And now we can add our terms reminder text below our checkbox. Let's save it. As you can see, I add to our text a class, terms reminder text, and I want to copy it and give some style in our base CSS file. So I'm going here. I want to add color, font size, and I want to hide it. We are hiding the text initially because we will dynamically reveal it through the JavaScript when the customer interacts with the checkbox. Let's save our file and return to our main cart footer file. Below the message variable, I want to create a new variable called message by selecting element with the class terms reminder text using document query selector. If the checkbox is empty, we will display the message instead of the alert. I want to delete our alert, and I want to modify the style property of our message by setting display to block. Additionally, I want to hide the checkbox when it's checked by setting its display property to none. Finally, to track when the checkbox is checked, we will assign a value to it by creating an event listener for our checkbox. Similar to what we did with the button, this listener will detect changes in our checkbox, and we will set the checkbox value to agreed at plus the current date and time. This approach helps us track of when checkbox was checked by the customer. Let's save our code and go back to the store. Now when customers try to navigate to the checkout page, they will see our reminder message instead of an alert. Additionally, you have the option to customize the text in the settings. I made a test order, and here you can see the timestamp showing when the checkbox was checked. This could be useful in case of legal argument. Thank you guys for watching this video, and if you have any questions about tutorial, feel free to leave a comment below. See you!